We're very excited to reopen our doors on June 1st. The hotel is a four diamond property in College Park, right adjacent to the University of Maryland. And we've spent the last few weeks focusing on our internal practices and procedures. And we've created a comprehensive plan throughout Southern. And our hospitality division has worked very hard to create this plan to be able to reopen and welcome guests. So everything from modifying our check-in and modifying our overall operations to low or no touch, to sanitization, room cleaning, housekeeping operations, but every aspect of the experience has been enhanced and built upon the strong service that the property already has and strong reputation.
Can you talk to me about the safety precautions that the hotel will be taking, your staff, as well as any safety precautions that guests need to take?
Absolutely. The focus for Southern has always been on team members, guests, and community from a safety standpoint first. So that's really the foundation of our plan. And everything from individual associate use of personal protective equipment or PPE to the chemicals that we use in rooms to how we're blocking rooms, checking in guests. It's real focus on physical distancing and how we're spacing out guests, whether it's floor stickers or plexiglass or sanitization of keys. Every single piece of that guest interaction has been addressed and really carefully looked at. And then we've also reviewed things like the American Hotel and Lodging Association Safe Stay program and other programs that are out there to make sure that we meet or exceed every single one of those measures so that whether it's a CDC guideline or a safe stay guideline, that we put in the very best practices in each one of those elements. So from guest arrival to check-in to the housekeeping, preparation of the room to post-stay, every piece has been addressed. We will ask guests when you're in common areas around, similar to what's been requested throughout Maryland, to wear a mask. But it really is focusing on physical distancing and adapting the spaces so that you're limiting your interactions and your opportunities to basically to transmit. And then you're constantly cleaning and sanitizing spaces so that the areas that you're in, you have a high degree of confidence. The tagline that we're working with is our attention to detail is your peace of mind. And it's really been a strength for Southern as a company that we have a lot of experience in taking care of guests, taking care of residents. And as soon as this happened, we put a team together to address those key touch points, those key areas. And then as the programs came out, it was, what is that guest experience? So we've taken a lot of precautions and a lot of practice and a lot of training to get ready for that experience.
Okay. And will the rooms also be cleaned every day as well as conference centers?
From the guest rooms, the guest rooms will be fully sanitized at checkout. We'll have very low touch when guests are in house, so very limited operations. Again, the focus is to limit the person-to-person interactions. So if you're in your room, you're going to be the only one in your room. Then when you depart, to check out, that room will be cleaned and sanitized. And once it's done and inspected, nobody will go in that room for any reason until the next guest checks in. And those are little things that we're doing, but it's making sure that we're consistent in all of our operations. From a meeting center standpoint, yes, when we have meetings, again based on the limits that are set by whether it's Prince George's County, the state of Maryland, or other guidelines, there are sanitization processes in place for that. How we'll handle food service based on the needs. All of those things are being very carefully considered. And again, a lot of those on the meeting side are still pending our opportunity to host programs like that based on what the state guidelines will be.
And will you be decreasing the number of guests that are allowed in the hotel?
As far as total number of guests, that's really tough to say. We're not going to put a limit on guests. We have 297 rooms, but that can be 297 guests, or it could be 300, depending on how many people you have in the room. The more important factor for us is where do we block them? How do we, space them out? Are we handling our public areas appropriately? And are we limiting the opportunity for people to gather in groups and gather in close proximity? We'll have signage. We're limiting people in elevators. Um, Basically, common sense things that we can do. Our pool and fitness centers still remain closed. So it's reducing the opportunity for larger congregations, which is really the focus for us. Because once you're in your room and you're isolated and you're safe and secure, that's not the issue. The real issue for us is making sure all your common areas, the room that you're in is safe, that the common areas are clean, and that we have our seating groupings and lobbies and spaces set up that you can transit through safely, maintaining appropriate physical distancing, using, seeing our team in the appropriate PPE, you in mask, so that you have a high level of comfort